I've done a lot of interesting things in the last 15 years. I'm not sure whether I would have been happier not doing an MBA and starting this journey that I have taken. So we'll see. Hi, I'm Revant, co-founder and CEO at Mosaic Wellness, a health and wellness startup. It's a very interesting journey actually. I never wanted to do further studies. I was very happy after my graduation to land a job, and this was 2005. But I met this nerdy fellow in my first job who was very, very hell-bent on going to an IIM. He's actually my co-founder today in my current business. So imagine first job, you go in and you meet this group of people, you're all hanging out, you're having fun. And this is one guy who's just all the time studying to get into an IIM. And there's, that's how I discovered that there's something for, I'd heard about post-graduation options, but never taken them seriously. So he actually got into IIM Ahmedabad that year. And he was the one who actually coaxed me on his, I think, farewell week. He brought all his notes and then handed them over to me and said, you should go and give the CAT. And I said, why do you think so? He said, I think you have the potential. You have, you could do great things. You should just go and do an MBA. And then from there on, everything was just call him up and ask him that, hey, I've got these interview calls now, what do I do? So just followed the process that he guided me through it, right? So I got in, and then the next question, again, I called him up and said, you are 1 year ahead. What do you do in an IIM, right? And he said, you can either study hard and get into a top rank and get a great placement, a great job, lot of money, lot of status, reputation, etc. Or you spend a lot of time on extracurriculars and sort of get a well-rounded development, or you do both, which is very rare, but people manage to do that as well. So somehow it was a new experience for me to just do so much extracurricular activities, and I think it really helped me develop the confidence to take risks, do interesting stuff. See, we were at IIM Kozhikode, which was as the 5th IIM. Now this was 2007-8. It was about, we were the 11th batch. So it was not a very mature organization with a deep alumni pool. And it was in Kozhikode. Kozhikode, I don't know if even the listeners would know, it's a name for Calicut. It's in northern part of Kerala. Not that well connected as well to metros, right? So we have so many young students who come to premier institutes because they have a very fixated approach that this is what I want in life. And this is how I'll get there. I'll get to premier institute A, then I'll go to premier institute B, then I'll join this premier organization. This is the stamp I'll get. This is the Ivy League college I'll go to. Because it somehow got put into everybody's head that that's the definition of success. And as Kunal keeps saying, we are a nation that chases status, and you get massive statuses when you join these institutes. We didn't have any, yes, it was an IIM, but as I said, it was the 5th, it was a young IIM, and we had to fight for a status even within IIMs, right? So it really peed me off that why do people think that we don't have the best students, or the students at IIM Kozhikode would not be as good as IIM Ahmedabad. And the answer would be, hey, we are sure you are also great, but we have been doing this for 7 years. All the members in our organization are alumni of Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta. So, and in some ways I discovered I call it the junoon to challenge the status quo ki dunya aisi kyun hai. A lot of young folks come up and ask me this कि यार ये आपका career path बहुत interesting है, हमें भी ऐसा कुछ follow करना है. I think the biggest misattribution that anyone could have is to think that people had a plan. Again, very lucky that I got into Yes Bank. It was one of the few banks that still visited. Kudos to them for taking that bold call. And I think that's the big difference that I saw between large professional organizations, and Yes Bank was a startup back then. It was less than 5 years old as a company. And the management felt that this is a chance to go out and make your mark and get top talent when everybody else is stepping back, right? One of my seniors, two of my seniors actually from Kozhikode used to run this vertical called knowledge banking in Yes Bank. I had an opportunity to work with them on a few things. They actually moved. So Abhishek moved to head investment banking for Elara in India. He called up Kashyap, who was then leading the tech vertical in knowledge banking in Yes Bank. And he called me up and said, do you want to do investment banking? I said, why not, right? Like today, for example, an Amazon would have a category manager, and they would manage a category of, let's say, electronics. They would talk to people at boat, noise, etc., and manage those relationships. All of this is similarly, in commercial banking, we would have, let's say I was covering chemicals and pharmaceutical companies, where I would either initiate or continue the relationship with the company and look at all their banking needs. Whereas investment banking very specifically looks at a few products which are around raising capital or looking at M&A. I got bored with investment banking, I think, in a couple of years. So I realized that I wanted to really learn how to build business. And I started looking out for roles like that. Serendipitously, Jaideep actually sent a very interesting... Jaideep was the founder and CEO at Rebel Foods. Then it was just Faasos. And the email was very hard-hitting, right? Ekdam dil chhu gaya ki if you are a banker or a consultant bored with doing presentations, then this is what maybe you are looking for. And yeah, I think once we got in, it was just all hands-on trying to build the company. We did everything that was required. To give credit to Jaideep, the role was no different than what he described. We were thrown in the deep end. I ended up becoming the CFO in 3 months of the company, of joining the company. So now if you put everything together, young IIM, 5-year-old bank, 1-year-old investment bank, 1-year-old, like, खून में सिर्फ यही था कि यार, we are the underdog, we have to win. And I think I've been doing it for so long now that there's nothing else that I can really understand. But I really enjoy picking on 0 to 1 problems, as we call it, which is, you can call them creative problems, you can call them problems that need out-of-the-box thinking, you can call them problems that cannot be worked out through a decision tree because there's not enough data. I don't think I switched around a lot, if you ask me. Like, I would have continued to be at Rebel if the next thing hadn't happened, where again I got a call and said, somebody really thinks that you can do this role. And I said, wow, if somebody thinks I can do something like this, which, nobody used to get venture capital opportunities to lead funds at that age back then, right? This is 2017, early 17. I think since then the industry has come out of being a cottage industry to just exploded in the last 6-7 years. But I've always just reacted to people's ability to ask me to do more stuff. I have actually never really gone on and said, I want to spend time on this. In fact, that's the advice that I would love to give young folks, that just say yes to everything. Like, there's so much gyan on the internet saying, value your time, say no. You can do that much later in life. But pehle aap sab seekh to lo. So I think people are getting a little too serious about what they want in life too early in my view. But you have to work your ass off for 16 hours a day for 3 months just to know whether this is the right path or not also sometimes. I think as a VC, my worldview developed a lot faster because it was a lot of outside-in perspective of working with other founders. At Rebel, it was a lot of inside-out work, right? How do you focus on operations? How do you get efficiency? How do you get marketing done properly? How do you really create a new brand? There was a lot of inside-out thinking. Outside-in perspective was limited, though because I used to also help in fundraising, there was a good deal there. But I think when I really started working with founders in gaming, in SaaS, it really gave me a lot faster learning on how the world works and how different geographies work, how different companies shape up, how hard it is to hire when you have very little capital or not the right VC on your cap table, how hard it is to fundraise if you are not in the right sector at the right time and stuff like that, right? In fact, I used to regularly get that feedback from most of the founders that it's refreshing to talk to someone who's built a business, right? So we are still building. We have not built it. It's been like 3.5 years since we have started. Broadly, we wanted to build something in the health and wellness space. And then we realized that the space is itself very nascent in India and requires a very personalized approach. We first tackled a segment that was not adhered was quite ignored, if I can say that. So men's health is something that we started with in May 2020.
So देखना बंद करो और देखभाल शुरू करो.
Today we are proud to sort of assist a lot of men in their journey to better health. Then we obviously started Be Body Wise for women's health, and now we have Little Joys for kids' health as well.
Be Body Wise works with your body. Everything a mum needs.
Are there 3 companies? No. There are 3 individual platforms within the same company. It's just that we realized that healthcare has to be personalized, right? There has to be a very strong emotional reason for you to start and sustain on that journey. And we have taken the personality of a coach for each of these consumer segments, and that's how each of these platforms is a mobile app that helps men, women, and parents in that journey to better health for themselves or their children. Broadly, the vision is if we can help at scale about 10, 15, 20 million Indians over time, consistently start and stay on that journey to better health, we would have done a good job. As long as I get the context in the message, कि आप चाहते क्या हो, it's good enough. Like if I look back to the folks who wrote in to me and they just said, hey, I'm this. I would love to have an opportunity to work with you guys. This is my CV or this is my profile, this is my number. Sure, it's a unique one. As I said, we've launched, we have Little Joys, which is a health and wellness platform for parents and kids. And I say parents and kids because while the products and solutions are more for kids, a lot of parenting anxiety is in our minds as parents, right? It's self-manifested. So we've realized that some part of that anxiety needs to be relieved by just getting them to know about how others are navigating this complex journey of parenting. So we thought there's nothing out there in terms of content for that. So we're just trying to build a podcast called Tiffin Break. The post that I put out was just to announce that.
If there is somebody else that you would want to see a LinkedIn or a career breakdown for, please comment down below and we'll try to get that person for you next.